Rated M for mature.
Don't let your kids watch it!
Hey there, Artie!
They were mowing the grass near the fence, which was probably a cover to monitor the surroundings, just in case I tried to escape from the school. But they must have been thinking that would happen only after school was over. They seemed to have no idea that I'd already noticed their plan and was trying to run away right at that very moment. I couldn't use the front gate, since they'd find me easily. I moved behind the school building, made sure nobody was around the Curry Garden. Sorry, oh man, the teacher has a curry garden? Ran through it and dashed into the forest. I walked through the dense undergrowth, stepping on dead wood and climbing over fallen trees. After walking through the forest for a while, I came to a small road. I know many back roads in this village because of the club activities, and that knowledge had finally come in handy. So what should I do now? I'm sure the girl already passed on my message to Chia-sensei. Those men must be going crazy by now, knowing that I ran away. Is she gonna go to the car? She's like, oh, heck no, Rena did not ditch school again. She is so behind on her geography homework. Everybody in the class looked at each other and shook their heads. Chia-sensei looked a bit upset that Rena left school early without telling her in person.
でもレナさん、最近はいつも体調悪そうでございましたものね。みー。
レナ、カバンなんかも置きっぱなしだし。
Look, sometimes you gotta go, you know?
どうしちゃったんだろ
う。なんだか嫌な予感がするぜ。
え？
I think I know what's going on. Uh-oh. Is this where we're gonna tell Mio about Rena's delusions? I'm not sure, but I have a very bad feeling about this. She must have taken another ridiculous story seriously or something. I hope she won't do anything crazy. She's already committed double homicide! I hurried home. My father might be at his new job, or he might have gone shopping. He wasn't around when I got there. Now that they're on the move, I'm no longer safe in my house. They're very dangerous people. They're trained to be capable of attacking the Ministry of Construction, and they actually pulled off the kidnapping of the grandson of the minister. Locked doors and windows don't mean anything to them. In fact, it'd be like I was hiding in a box, which they could just open up to get at me. I can no longer stay at my home. It's very sad and very frustrating. I killed Rina and Tepe and finally regained a peaceful life with my father. How could this happen to me? I remembered what Keiichi-kun told me before. It expressed my feelings better than anything. Why did she give me those terrifying scrapbooks? Why did she tell me the secrets of that unthinkable conspiracy? She got me into this. I didn't do anything. It's all Mio-san's fault. But who was interested in her stories? I was. Who let her continue talking? I did. I did that out of curiosity. Who let the memories of Ibaraki return and told Mio-san about them? I did. I depended on Mio-san, hoping that she could somehow save me from the memories I'd been trying to forget. I shouldn't have remembered anything about that bizarre incident. If I hadn't, I wouldn't have gotten involved in the unthinkable conspiracy, and I could have just played around with my friends today. Rena spiraling in her text is getting redder. Yep. Man, this chapter is so well done. But even if I didn't know about the conspiracy, it had still continued behind the scenes. I would have been the one member of the mob running in a panic, not knowing what's going on the day of Oyashiro-sama's revival. I would have just been swallowed up in the conspiracy anyway. Would I be happier if I faced that day without knowing anything? Would I be happier if I struggled, knowing about it but ending up swallowed by it? If I'm going to end up the same way no matter what I choose to do, I'll fight. I'll choose to fight. Because that's how I seized my happiness before. When Rina invaded my home, seducing my father, I felt like it was the end of the world. I lived on the verge of despair every day. I thought that was the worst misfortune that could befall anyone. But the way things are going, it wasn't really that bad at all. I had only 2 enemies, Rina Mamiya and Tepe Hojo. Ah, you killed us! It's so rude! I knew my enemies, and I knew how many there were. I lured them out one by one, and I attacked them in the dark. It was an easy problem to solve. But what about this one? I don't know who my enemies are, and I don't know how many or how strong they are. Even the people I once trusted might be my enemies. I can't possibly be sure. It's totally different from the previous problem. Oh boy. This might be the end of the world. This time it really was the worst thing that could possibly happen. But is that really the case? With Rina, I felt like it was the end of the world, but I no longer think it was that bad. So this might turn out to be an easy problem to solve in the end, and I might be able to laugh about it someday. I know that day will come. I know it for sure. So I shouldn't think about this as the end of the world. Let's fight. I can fight. I can still struggle. I'd eat grass and drink mud if I needed to. I'm going to bet on the 1% chance even though it's unbelievably small. If Mio-san didn't leave me the scrapbooks, I wouldn't even have been able to sit at the table to bet. I was lucky that I received the scrapbooks because they gave me the chance to choose my future. Rena here blaming Takano for getting herself involved in this conspiracy is just like how Keiichi blamed Uisi for the same thing in Chapter 1. Oh yeah! The parallels between Chapter 1 Keiichi and Chapter 6 Rena are massive. They're even now in the same point where they're like, I'm nowhere is safe. Keiichi because his parents weren't at home, and Rena because they, like, everybody knows where she lives and has to leave. So yeah, absolutely massive overlap here. And I get the feeling it's probably going to end in a fairly similar way. I'm also wondering if how this concludes will shed light on, like, how Chapter 1 actually concluded and what was going on there. We'll see. I really want to know the truth of Chapter 1. If I don't fight, they'll spread the terrible parasite and this village will face a great disaster. According to the legend, when the demons first came out of the swamp, people became demons right after being infected, and it happened while they were inside the village. These days, symptoms appear only when the infected people leave the village, but that only applies to the later weak parasite. The original parasite can reenact the curse of Oyashiro-sama even when the infected people are in the village. The legend of Oyashiro-sama will be reborn. Humans and demons will start killing each other, and Oyashiro-sama will come down to pacify the disaster. That's what they want. They want people to prostrate themselves before that miracle, and only the people who truly worship Oyashiro-sama will be saved. I see. I know their true intention now. They're going to reenact the legend of Oyashiro-sama. After all, the villagers always say that Rika-chan is his reincarnation. The stage is all set. Oh no, is she going to do something to Rika? Like killing her? They're going to use the parasite as the curse. So, how are they going to make it look like Oyashiro-sama came down to pacify everyone? I get it. They must have some kind of medicine. A specific cure for the parasite. When they recreated the stronger form of the parasite, they found a cure for it at the same time. They're going to use the cure to save only those people who believe in Oyashiro-sama, and as a result, the village will only have those fervent believers. They're going to make themselves the absolute rulers of Hinamizawa. Wait, I might still be underestimating them. Are they going to carry out that horrifying act of bioterrorism only inside Hinamizawa? History proves that when their goal is to control others, people desire to spread their religion across a wide area. I'm sure that they conducted research not only to bring back the primitive form of the parasite, but also to overcome its weakness, namely that it only thrives in Hinamizawa. According to Mio-san's research, the parasite doesn't like its hosts to be far away from the region. Its weakness is distance. If they could extend the distance, if they could extend the area where it could live. I wonder how far along their research is. By now, the parasite might be able to live not only in Hinamizawa, but in Okinomiya as well. Or maybe even in the city. Maybe the whole prefecture? It might even be able to cover nearby prefectures as well. This is too serious to just call it a conspiracy. It's horrifying enough, and its scale large enough to call it a revolution. The day of revival is probably not far off. I can tell by how they killed Mio-san and by the extent of their pressure they're putting on me. They're trying to get rid of the small fish bones stuck in their throat by any means, because that day is coming ever closer. I'm the only one who can stand up against their revolution. I can't trust anybody. I think I can trust Keiichi-kun, but no one else. Michan is out of the question. I can't trust Rika-chan either. Satoko-chan and Rika-chan stick together like superglue, so I can't trust Satoko-chan either. Oh, that's why she doesn't trust her. I can't trust any adults. I can't trust anybody. No one is on my side. I have to stand up against them alone. The clock is ticking towards that day, and the ticking noise made me frustrated. How should I fight against them? What should I do? I needed time to think. I needed a place, a safe area, where I could concentrate on thinking. Fortunately, I had such an area already. My hideout at the garbage dump. Nobody ever goes there, so it's safe. Even if they found out about that place, I'm familiar with its surroundings. I know escape routes and places where I can hide. But it has a big shortcoming as a hiding place. It's not hard to imagine what that is. I don't have any stock of food there. That's why I came home. I opened one of my father's drawers and took out his cash box. The contents haven't changed since the last time I looked inside. There were many new 10,000 yen bills in the cash box. I took them all. I couldn't tell how many bills there actually were, but it looked to be about 80 of them. This should be plenty. If I evaded them long enough to use all this money, that would mean that I did pretty well. Plus, I might use it to buy someone off. You can never have too much money, especially in a situation like this. Don't steal from your dad. I didn't take the bank book. If they were waiting in ambush at the bank, I'd be done for. It's too risky to withdraw money at the bank. I grabbed my backpack. I took the key for my bicycle. To be honest, when you started Higurashi with Chapter 1 that spoke of gods, demons, and curses, you never expected it to the point of having parasites and bioterrorism. How far we have come, indeed. I put everything I think would be convenient to have into the backpack. I didn't care if it got heavy. I'd choose what was necessary to carry around later at my hideout. If there ended up being something I didn't need, I could leave it there. I looked at the clock. It had been 30 minutes since I came home. I stayed here too long! I rushed out of the house. I went to a small convenience store and bought as much sweetbread and canned food as I could fit in my backpack. Nobody's gonna find it suspicious that this teenage girl is, like, spending 800,000 yen on food. An old lady was at the register, probably suffering from dementia. She showed no interest in the extraordinary amount of food I was buying. Oh, smart of her! She bought food from the dementia patient. Excellent. That's amazing. Really, really solid thinking. Is she actually gonna buy a gun or something? No, just food. But as soon as the manager of the store checked the sales that night, he'd find out. The idea didn't bother me because I can no longer walk around the village in the daylight anyway. My backpack was full, and the cans hurt my back as I walked. But that didn't bother me either. I got to my hideout still carrying the heavy backpack. I organized the stuff I brought. It was very heavy to carry, but now I had sufficient food. The abandoned construction office still had running water, so I could get some from there. So she is going to the car. Let's go. I wanted to get some vegetables, but in a situation like this, I could hardly complain. After I organized things, I took out the scrapbooks I hid here and put my brain into top gear, flipping for the pages. So now what? How am I going to stand up against this gigantic conspiracy? I needed to calm down, stay cool, but also think fast. There might not be a lot of time, so I'd have to hurry, but I don't know what to do. It's easy to run to school in the morning when I oversleep. It's easy because I know where I should go, but now I don't know where I should go to or what I should do. Is that the same store of the dementia patient where the teddy bear meant for Satoko was? Maybe! Maybe, or maybe there's just more than one dementia patient in the Okinomiya area. Rena, you need to brush your teeth. No, brushing teeth is optional. I was about to make a mean joke there. I will refrain. Now that I've come to this point, I should tell Uisi-san everything. It's highly likely he's an enemy. But that doesn't matter anymore. If it was true, I'd just declare war. But if he was on my side, he'd be my only remaining hope. I'm far too weak to stand alone against the terrifying scale of this conspiracy poised to instill fear throughout Japan. I'd have to use a public phone to make the phone call. There's only one public phone in this village that stands at a place where it's hard for people to spot you. That phone booth. Is this the one Keiichi died in? I think it is. It stands in the middle of nowhere where literally nobody comes around to. Many bugs gather around the light when it's dark, and it's not a pleasant place to go to. But I can't think of any other public phones I can use to contact Uisi-san without being seen. Even though it stands in the middle of nowhere, it's still dangerous to use in the daylight. Okay, I know the car doesn't have wheels, but I gotta say, it will be very badass if Rena puts wheels on it and actually starts driving the car around if she gets found out later on. Even if she's going nuts. I should wait until nightfall and take advantage of the darkness. I heard that Uisi-san has been holed up in the station since Mio-san's murder case, so I should be able to reach him anytime. I have the number for the direct line to his office, too. The sky was still bright. Even though I had no time, I still had to wait for it to get dark. Frustrated, I glared at the sunset. I should find something to do. I couldn't waste any time that I had, so there must be something to do. That is the one that Akasaka went to. I forgot about that. After I thought about what I could do, I found there was something I wanted to confirm. Something I had been worried about. I couldn't do anything else before it got dark anyway. Staying here doing nothing would just make me more frustrated. I made my decision and left the hideout. Rena's father paced up and down restlessly in front of his house. A bicycle appeared, its rider ringing the bell. Uh-oh. He's doing a big— I got robbed! A police officer from the Hinamizawa police station had shown up. Having rushed to get there, he was breathing hard.
確かに施錠して出て行ったんです。そしたらまず家の扉が開きっ
You
ぱなし
didn't
になっ
close
て
the
ま
door
して
behind you, Rena. He led the police officer into the house.
それで私の部屋の
She left the
手提
cash
げ金庫が
box
まんまとや
open.
られまして。
ご主人、これはその時のまま触ってない？
ええ、犯人の指紋とかあるだろうと思いまして金庫には触れてません。
Oh, no, they're gonna be like, oh, the only fingerprints on here are yours and your daughter's. And he's like, no, they were wearing gloves.
ただ中身を確認したので中のものには少し触れています。
それで取られたものは？
貯金通帳と印鑑は大丈夫だったんですが、中に入ってた現金を全部。
通帳と印鑑大丈夫だったんですか？そりゃあ不幸中の幸いでしたね。最近は通帳から足がつくと思ってプロは現金しか持ってかないんですよね。
True.
こりゃだいぶ手慣れた空き巣かな。金庫ごと持ってかないでこの場で開けちゃうってんだから相当のプロだね。でお金はどのくらいやられちゃって？
ちょっと数えてなかったんですが、多分1万円札で100枚近くはあ
Oh,
った
wait,
と思い
no,
ます。
that's a million yen.
そう、それだけの現金が入ってることを誰かに知らせた？
Oh, probably Rena. He doesn't know Rena's dead. Nobody
い
does.
え、誰にも知らせてはいませんが、あの女たちならこの家に金があることを知っていたかも。
Poor Rena's dad, man. I feel bad for this man.
あの女？ちょっとお話を聞かせていただけますか？
Misunderstandings everywhere, yes.
実はあまりみっともいい話じゃないんで。
Is this what's finally going to spark people being like, wait a second, Rena and Tepe haven't been seen in like a month?
マミヤ・リナという女とですね。
Just then the phone rang.
すみません、ちょっと出てきますね。すぐ戻ります。
He grabbed the phone.
はい、リュウグウです。
すみません、前原と申しますが、レナさんはいらっしゃいますか？
レーナはまだ帰ってきてません。
You again? Keiichi, didn't you talk on the phone with her for an hour last night? You really have more to talk about? Sorry.
まだ帰ってない。
Rena bragged to her call girlfriends about the man she was conning. I mean, I can see that happening.
いや、申し訳ないんですが、ちょっと今立て込んでます。遊びの電話でしたら申し訳ないですね。失礼いたします。
He hung up after that. I was stunned. It didn't look like anything had changed on the surface. It was hard to find this place at all, because it perfectly blends in with the surroundings. I only found this place again because I remembered there was a tree with a big lump of wood on it nearby. The spot where I buried the corpses was perfectly camouflaged, as if nothing had happened. That's why, at first, thought I came to the wrong place. Why are you back here again? But I could make certain once I stick a shovel into the ground. I should be able to tell right away whether this place was dug up before or not. After several false starts, I found the exact spot where I buried the corpses. Why would you dig them out? This is exactly the same dumb thing Keiichi tried to do in Chapter 3, and thankfully his friends moved the body. Or maybe there was no body there in the first place, apparently, according to the credits! But the biggest problem of all is that there are no bags in there at all. What the heck is happening? Why? How come? Did I bury them deeper than this? No, I didn't. I remember exactly how deep I buried them. I know I didn't bury them deeper than this. What is going on with these, like, we bury bodies and they just disappear? Are we getting an explanation for this as well? Imagine if we get explanations for Chapter 1 and 3 in this one single chapter. Did Mion move the body again? Mion, stop! I wasn't expecting this. Why are you trying to dig them up anyways? I came here to check the corpses. I just wanted to do that to kill some time. Why? I know she's delusional and insane right now, but still. I didn't want to stay in my hideout doing nothing, so I came here to check if the corpses I buried were still here. Why? This is so dumb! I'd make sure that they were still here, and I'd feel relieved. It was supposed to go like that! This was such an unexpected turn of events that I broke out into a cold sweat. What's going on? Yes! What is going on? I don't need to calm down to think about what happened. Corpses can't come back to life and crawl out of the ground. Somebody must have dug them out! Who did it, and for what purpose? Did anyone happen to see us burying the corpses here, and did they dig them out after we left? What if they handed them over to the police? No, it can't be. It had been quite a while since the day they were here. It was before the Watanagashi festival. So if the police did find the corpses, when Uisi contacted me, he had to know about Rina and Teppei. But he didn't tell me anything about them. I don't think he was hiding anything on purpose either. So that means the police don't know about Rina and Teppei yet. So then why are the corpses gone? Why is the rum gone? That would only leave one answer. Who knows about this place? One of us came back here, dug out the bags, and took them away. Mion, we know you mean well, and your Yakuza probably has acid or something, but you're making your friends go crazy. That's really the only explanation. Except, no, it's not, because Chapter 3 literally revealed at the end that Teppei died in the gas, leak at the end from the swamp on that day. Meaning, apparently, we never killed him in Chapter 3. But we definitely did! That is the single biggest mind screw. The first person who comes to mind is Mion. I mean, the Sonozaki family. But I can't think of a reason why they would do that. The murder of Rina and Teppei has nothing to do with them. I'm sure they don't want to get involved either, let alone be falsely accused. They must want to stay as far away from this case as possible. Why would they want to keep the corpses? It's like keeping a Joker even though you'll lose if you have the Joker by the end of the game. If I was Michan, what would I do? What would I do if I was club president? The Joker is a card you want to get rid of, at least in the game I mentioned earlier, but it becomes the most powerful card in other games. What kind of game would that be? An electric shock ran through my spine. At the same time I realized it, they're one step ahead of me. The Sonozaki family got the corpses to use them as a Joker, as a wild card. They're trying to use them to sell me out to the police. The Sonozaki family's trying to kill me using their death squad, but they want to have insurance just in case they fail. You think something is making Artie crazy right now? I told you what it is that I can't figure out! The thing they're afraid of the most is that I might work together with the police. If they could prevent that from happening, I'd have no one to work with. If that happens, I can no longer run away from them. I'd still be a fish in their pond. They're going to use the corpses to sell me out to the police for the murder of Rina and Teppei, which you did do! If the police started seeing me as a suspect, they'd never listen to my story. They could have been my last hope, but this will certainly turn them against me. But I'm sure the Sonozaki family doesn't want to use their Joker unless absolutely necessary. After all, Mio and Sonozaki helped bury the corpses. Plus, they don't want the police to hover around Himenizawa when the day of revival is so close. Also, Rena, Mion, if you think is against you, she knows where your hideout is, so your hideout's not going to be a safe place. I'm going to call Uisi tonight, and I'm going to ask him for help. I'm going to tell him everything, including the things I haven't even told Keiichi-kun. I don't know if Uisi will believe me. This is a gamble, and my chance of winning is very small. Plus, my worst enemy has the Joker, the bags with the corpses inside. I'm impressed with Mion. That's just what I'd expect from the leader of our club. This is a battle that I'm betting my life on. But to Mion, this is like a board game, taking place across Hinamizawa itself. I grinned, repeating to myself that it's just a game. I put my life on the line for every club activity we do, because I don't want to suffer the punishment. This time, that's become the literal truth. There could only be one reason why they're trying so hard to drive me into a corner. It's because they're afraid of me. I assumed I was just a little girl with no power running out in confusion, but my enemy must not be thinking that way. If they didn't think I was a threat to them, they wouldn't take risks like this to drive me into a corner. That means the scrapbooks Mio-san left me must be way more dangerous to them than I think they are. Is Rena going to try to sell it by by the way, Mion killed these people and has their dead bodies somewhere to Uisi? Is she gonna Uno reverse this? I see. They have a Joker, but so do I. The Joker I have is so deadly and so powerful that it can break their plot into pieces. That's why they're so eager to find me. Ha ha ha. A cornered mouse really can bite a cat. I have felt my fear towards my enemy fade away all of a sudden. Just as I fear them, so do they fear me too. So this is an evenly matched game. I don't have as bad of a hand as I thought I did. I was right to come here. I found out about the card my enemy was holding. This is a big deal. I felt myself shiver with excitement. I grinned to encourage myself. I don't need to be here any longer. They know this place. They might come here to find me. It's not safe for me to stay here for long. I decided to go back to my hideout. On the way back, I passed close to my house. I noticed something different right away. I hid behind a bush and looked at the front gate of my house. She's gonna overhear the police report and she's gonna misinterpret things and be like, they're trying to arrest me! My father was talking to a police officer. I strained to catch their conversation.
はい。いつもはそこに止めてあるはずなんです。
My father pointed to the place I usually park my bicycle.
わかりました。もしお嬢さんが帰られましたらご連絡く
Why
だ
is
さい。
he speaking in red text too?
こちらの方でも探してみます。
Michan, you're good. Did you already play your Joker? Miyonori starts a battle by attacking without hesitation and wins. It seems like the police are already after me. My chance of being able to explain the conspiracy to Uisi was already small, but this makes it even smaller. No. That's why I'm going to talk to Uisi. He sees the Sonozaki family as his enemy, and he's trying to expose everything about them before his retirement. That's why he'll be on my side. He's not going to fall for their trick. Of course, there's a very high possibility that everything was part of their trap from the very beginning. It's possible that he claimed the Sonozaki family was his enemy in order to make me believe that he's on my side. But their Joker is actually giving me hope. If Uisi is one of them, it would be too early to play their Joker. Uisi isn't one of them. That's why they got the Joker, so they can play it before I go to the police. No, wait, that might be a trick to make me think that way in order to make me trust Uisi. When Mion gives me two choices to choose from, it's usually better to choose the one I like without thinking too much. Mion, after all, likes to guess people's intentions in order to confuse them. So when you think about a choice too much, you're already in her trap. I'm going to do as I planned. I'm going to call Uisi after it gets dark. If he's going to become my ally, we can talk about the future. And if he isn't, that I realized was what I had to think about before it got dark. Wow. Wowie zowie. Well,
いえいえ、時間のことは気にしないでくださいよ。
You know what? I think we're going to end the stream there. Because those parts took a bit longer than expected to get through. It's around the 2-hour mark now. And the way I see it, we're either going to need to spend a really long time on one or more stream, or we'll just finish it up in the next 2 streams. So I think the plan is, next stream, we'll get the next 2 tip sections, and then the final stream on Friday, we will finish the chapter and do the after party / new conversation. So, sorry, we're leaving it on a bit of a cliffhanger, but that's how we gonna do it. We saved it. Oh no, don't worry about calling me late. That's what we're gonna have. That's what's gonna happen on Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tune in for that. It should be interesting. This chapter is fantastic. Wow, I'm blown away by how good this is. Yeah, thanks for joining in and chatting, everybody. I hope you have a great, fantastic rest of your night, and God bless everybody.